Well, let's move on with the news now. Human rights groups have urged Britain. We did have that news earlier for you. We'll go to the next piece of news now. A new poll shows Germany's anti-Euro party, AfD, is winning more support, enabling it to participate in the upcoming parliamentary elections. The poll conducted by the INSA Polling Institute and published on Tuesday shows the Alternative for Germany party scored 5%. This is up from 3% in a poll conducted a week ago by the same body. Analysts believe the party could pose a threat to Chancellor Angela Merkel's government, which has a narrow lead over the opposition so far. Founded by a group of German economists and academics, AfD wants to ditch the euro and return to the original Deutschmark. In New York, Ian Williams, senior analyst with Foreign Policy in Focus, is with me now live. Thank you very much, Mr. Williams, for being on the top five. Now, this poll we're hearing showing at least some kind of public support for a movement that's calling for a return to the local and national currency. Do you think that this is going to be a growing movement?
I don't think it's going to grow very much. The crucial point is its effect on German electoral mathematics. The Chancellor Merkel's coalition is held together by the Free Democrat Party, which only just scrapes over 5% of the vote, which is what is necessary to be represented in Parliament. And if the new Alternative for Germany party were to erode into that even by a few thousand votes, then that would mean that the Free Democratic Party wouldn't be represented in there, and it would possibly kick the legs from under Angela Merkel's coalition. It's unlikely that the Alternative for Germany will actually make that 5%. But if it does, it will just create a new level of uncertainty. It's a very esoteric cause. The Germans have done very well out of the euro. The pain of Southern Europe has been reflected in relative German prosperity.
So you're saying, Mr. Williams, that maybe it's not going to have a lot of effect on the election. Even if it does, that in itself is not going to be much of an influence on the politics of the country as a whole. But do you see this as a sign? We've seen, of course, in other countries that have been using the euro, in Greece, for instance, in other areas, even we heard in Cyprus, that the use of the euro currency is being seen as what is to blame for the economic crisis they're facing. And there has been a lot of blame pointed towards Germany. So do you think this is why people are at least now talking about this?
Well, in Germany, this party looks, from the composition, greying white men and middle-aged, it looks very much like yet another expression of genteel xenophobia on the part of some of the German citizenry. You have to remember that Germany has actually done quite well out of the euro. And one of the biggest problems with the euro is, in fact, the German domination of the policies, putting sort of neoliberal and anti-deflationary policies in that affect the Southern Europeans when they're totally inappropriate for them. So Germany, the euro is not a problem for Germany. Germany is a problem for the euro. There are other people who have suggested, in fact, that they should that they should drop out. That Germany should drop out and leave the rest of the Europe to run the euro more sensibly without the sort of fixed ideas of German central bankers. But this does have a big effect on the coalition. If they erode into the Free Democrat Party's 5%, put it below the margin for representation in Parliament, then basically it hands the election possibly to the Social Democrats and the left parties, if they were prepared to form a coalition.
Thank you very much. Ian Williams, senior analyst with Foreign Policy in Focus, with us there live from New York.